Fauja, hello and welcome to Keith's Whisky Vlog. My name is Keith, aka WhiskyTourGuideKeith, and as you've probably already seen from the title of the video, I am going to declare my favourite whisky from the year 2021 in this video. It's a full year now since I've started doing YouTube videos and loving it, enjoying it, a little bit of a hobby, not quite sure why I'm doing it, just to drink whisky, lay it down for posterity, look back in it in a few years' time, who knows, see where it takes me. When I started, I did a video which reviewed 5 years worth of favourite whiskies, and if you'd like to see that video, check it out. Also available on my YouTube channel. So 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 and 2020. Now there's no real hard and fast rules, that a couple of self-imposed guidelines. No whisky can win twice, so once you've won, you've won. It is my favourite whisky. I'm not saying it's the best whisky there is. It is the favourite whisky that I have tasted for the first time in that year. All rules are there to be broken, subject to change. So, I say nothing too hard and fast, but that's the general rules. Now, in my previous video, I didn't have any of the whiskies. I went through them all, talked about them. In this video, I am going to declare and do a little tasting review for you of my favourite whisky. The trouble is, I have thought long and hard through 2021. I've been around Scotland, despite the worldwide pandemic that's been kind of restricting things. Working as a tour guide, WhiskyTourGuideKeith, I have still been able to get out and about around Scotland, not just the mainland, but some of the Scottish islands. Outer Hebrides, the Isle of Lewis, I'm going around with a trusty WhiskyTourGuideKeith pointer. So the Outer Hebrides, these islands up here, and the Isle of Lewis, you've got Aforementioned, the smallest, I think, by volume producer of single malt. It's away out, where are we? It's right about here somewhere. It's the middle of nowhere. There's no signposts or anything. It's about as far west as you can go in Scotland, certainly where there's human beings anyway. I've done a little whisky review of the Aforementioned 10-year-old, their initial 10-year-old release. I've also been up to Orkney in the last year as well, the Orkney Islands. Pretty limited availability. They've got their two distilleries, Scapa and Highland Park. They were really limited on numbers, certainly at Highland Park. Didn't actually get into either of those distilleries. Where else have been this year? Been on the Isle of Skye, very popular, very touristy, the Isle of Skye. So much more to do than the main tourist points. But they've got two distilleries over there now. Talisker, well over 100 years old, about the west, up about here. And they've been doing a lot of improvements to the facilities at Talisker. They've got a lovely big new car park, long overdue. They just couldn't really cope with the numbers, especially in the summer, so hopefully that will see them good going forward. Torravig Distillery in Skye, I've still not got to. It's down in the south of the island. I will get there, it is on my to-do list. What else in 2021? I managed to get to the Isle of Jura for the first time. Absolutely made up. I love bagging new islands. I see it all the time as a tour guide. When you take people places, it's the first time they've been. It sounds obvious, but you can only visit somewhere for the first time once. And that's really rammed home to me when I go somewhere, get trained on a tour and go somewhere for the first time, then I can take people. So I absolutely revel in it, embrace it, and make sure I enjoy it as much as possible when I go somewhere for the first time. Isle of Jura, so between Islay and the mainland, where are we? Here's Islay, and this is Jura, the sort of longer island. The name Jura comes from the Old Norse for deer, I believe, through Gaelic into English, the Isle of Jura. The Jura distillery, so we were over in Islay, we took a little short hop across the little Jura ferry and made our way to the Jura distillery. I did a little tasting video on the Isle of Jura as well, check that video out, right in front of the distillery, beautiful island, lovely whisky. Where else? So, been all over Scotland, all over the mainland as well. Trusty old distilleries, favourite ones like Glenfarclas up on Speyside, great distillery, been in there again this year. They're taking visitors, little family run independent distillery, 5th, 6th generation I think now, something like that. Places like the Dewars distillery, at Aberfeldy, good distillery. and over I was in Oban, here's Oban on the west coast, all over. Even Lindores Abbey Distillery, quite a new distillery, Lowland Distillery, just south of the River Tay about here. And again, check out the video. They've just released a 3-year-old, and I did a little video on that one. Really nice distillery, really impressive, designed, ethos, their approach, all that sort of stuff, location as well. So Scotland's not all about islands, mountains and the rugged highlands. The lowlands have got a lot to offer as well. So 2021, despite the limitations, despite a lot of the stuff that was going on, managed to get around, visit a lot of distilleries, and drink a lot of whisky. Not maybe as much in the way of new whiskies as I have, certainly more than 2020. That was quite a limited year. However, what has happened is I got to the end of the year 2021, and obviously having it in my head that I'll do a Whisky of the Year video as I've been going through the year. That's okay, that's not bad, well that's a good one, that's okay, that's not bad, that's a good one. So I've got to the end of the year and I've got 2 whiskies and I'm not sure which one is my favourite. Now, when we were on Islay and Jura in July 2021 for my birthday, again check out the videos that I did, some at Laphroaig, some at Finlagan, some at Portaskeg, various little videos as well as the Jura video that I mentioned. We did a tasting review outside the Bunnahabhain distillery. Unbelievable day, beautiful blue sky, blue seas, great views. Bunnahabhain's a lovely location, and I got a little sample back of their festival bottles. There was a Moyne cask, Bordeaux wine, and a Marsala cask. I think it was 19-year-old, and the Marsala cask was outstanding. Blew me away. I'm not really a fan of Bunnahabhain normally, and it was as good a whisky as I'd tasted, I think, at that point. So, however, it was a little sample that I got. It was £20 for the 3-pack, the 12-year-old, the Moyne and the Marsala, and I thought they would go like hotcakes, and that was that. So I was going to have to review it from memory for you at the end of the year. However, another whisky that's really pushed through is the Ardbeg Wee Beastie. Tried that, they've just added it to their range. And those 2 whiskies have basically got to the final. Not that I had a final in mind, but those 2 are vying for WhiskyTourGuideKeith's exalted prize of Whisky of the Year 2021. Now, for Christmas, I was lucky enough to get a Ardbeg Wee Beastie. So I have the Ardbeg Wee Beastie for you. I can taste that. And when I was in the Deanston distillery, another lowland distillery. Now, Deanston are owned by the same company that have Bunnahabhain, and tucked in the corner on a shelf was the little Bunnahabhain Festival tasting packs. I was like, yeah, beauty, how much are they? £20. So I managed to grab another one of these. So it's got the 12, it's got the Moyne cask, but it's also, for the purposes of this video, what we're interested in, it's got the Marsala cask. So what I'm going to do is drink the Marsala cask and the Wee Beastie head to head. Can't really say much fairer than that. Which one I prefer, and that will win the title of WhiskyTourGuideKeith's favourite whisky of 2021. Now in the tasting pack, they have some little cards, little tasting cards. I like the big couch on the pier at Bunnahabhain. Would be a good addition. They do have deck chairs there, but they've not actually got the couch. And the tasting pack, excellent. It's got a little bit about Islay here. You can see Bunnahabhain in the top northeast of the island, just above Ardnahoe, Killila, Portaskeg, where the ferry goes across to Rassay. Got the sound of Islay. Killila, the name Killila comes from the sound of Islay, the streets of Islay. So nice little tasting pack, got a little badge in there, and we've got the Marsala cask. So we'll put these ones away for another time. I've not reviewed the Bunnahabhain 12 yet. We'll do that for you at some point. If you'd like to see what I think of the Moyne cask and the Marsala cask, check out the video that I did when I was over there. And as I say, you got little postcards. I just noticed actually, I hadn't noticed before, £5 off at Bunnahabhain. I've got 2 or 3 of these now, so I might have to buy some more Bunnahabhains to drink for you. See how we go. Yeah, so just in case you don't know, every year on Islay, the Whisky Festival, Fashila and Gaelic, the Islay Festival, the distilleries release festival bottles, as they're sort of colloquially called. The Moynie cask, I think, was £85. This one was a little bit more expensive, £199 for a full-size bottle. God knows what they'll be going for, probably double that now online. They'll be sold out at the distillery. So it's a fantastic little thing, I think, that they do sell them as little sort of samples. Where we're talking 30 mils, 3cl, so more than enough there to get a gist of what it's like. So we've got the Bunnahabhain Fashila 2021 Marsala cask finish versus the Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie. Let's get them into a glass, put them head to head, chuck them. Well, I'm going to smell them first of all, then we'll chuck them in my mouth, and then we can declare a winner. So we've got 2 stem glasses here, same shape, keep it as balanced, keep it as fair as possible. I'll leave that one still. We'll open the Wee Beastie. It's not actually been opened yet. As I say, I was a good boy last year, so Santa Claus said, Keith, since you've been so good, thought you might like a Wee Beastie in your stocking. This has just been added to the Ardbeg core range. Now, 5-year-old, we'll give it a wee read actually before we open it. Ardbeg Wee Beastie, guaranteed 5 years old, the ultimate Islay single malt Scotch whisky, non-chill filtered. It also comes in at 47.4%, and as I say, they've added this to their core range. They were looking for sort of raw, real sort of smoky Islay. Now, in my humble opinion, the 10-year-old's already raw and smoky enough, but 5-year-old is going to be a little bit more edgy. You see sort of scratch marks on the label, always like a good bit of market. And Ardbeg, I think, do a really good job. Nice bottle, nice shape, nice chunky and stout. Non-chill filtered as well, so young and intensely smoky with a rich, explosive mouthfeel of chocolate, tar and savoury meats, cracked black pepper and sappy pine resin on the snout. I like that. Reeking flavour in its path. There are plenty of things in the world that cannot be fully explained. One such peculiarity has emerged from the peat bogs of Islay. Said to be a feisty young creature, witnesses have spoken of its formidable bite. Senses are heightened with each encounter. First comes an intense aroma of cracked black pepper mingling with sappy pine resin and the sharp tang of smoke. Suddenly the explosive mouthfeel bursts forth with chocolate, creosote and tar. Lovely. Savoury meats sink into the palate before the long, salty, mouth-coating finish slinks away. At just 5 years old, the legendary smokiness of Ardbeg is untamed by age, revealing the inner beast of this Islay icon. So, off the top of my head, the Ardbeg core range, you've got the Ardbeg 10, obviously this now the Wee Beastie, you've got the An O, the Corryvreckan and Ugadal. I think that's the core range, maybe another one, but anyway. So a nice little welcome addition to the Ardbeg range. So obviously I've tasted this before. I drank quite a lot of this when you're over in Islay, Bowmore Hotel, the Loch Side. You're not going to pay more than £40 a bottle for this one. Very good value, around about £35. Does cause a little bit of consternation. 5 years old. What a cheek giving away such young whisky. Put it in your mouth, taste it. It's made it to the final table for the 2021 WhiskyTourGuideKeith tasting whisky of the year. So we'll chuck some of this in. Obviously I've not got a full size bottle of the £199 stuff, but having a little sample for you should do the job. I'll talk you through them once once I've got them in the glass. There we go. I'm going to keep about half of that for, I don't know, special occasion, Saturday night, maybe a Friday night, who knows. But anyway, there we go. So, this is the wee beastie. It's matured in ex-bourbon and also Oloroso sherry casks. It's not got much colour in it. It's only 5 years old, but you're going to get the classic Scotch whisky from the bourbon. You're going to get a bit of smokiness because it's Ardbeg. Then Oloroso should round it out, give it a bit of juiciness maybe, despite its young age. Probably going to be quite sharp, you'd expect. Marsala, now Marsala wine, it comes from Sicily in Italy, right in the very western tip of Sicily. It's a town or a city called Marsala, which is where Marsala fortified wine comes from. Fortified wine is just wine that's been sort of, it's had another spirit added to it, usually something like brandy, just to preserve it. So it's got a little bit more just for sort of preservation. That's what fortified means. So it's a fortified wine, so it's a bit sweeter. It's like, say, equivalent to your sherry from Spain or your port from Portugal, but Marsala, it's effectively an Italian or a Sicilian equivalent. Now, when I tasted this the first time, and I've only ever tasted it once on Isla in the tasting video, really did blow me away. You can see the reaction. That's lush. That is lovely. That's beautiful. It's soft, it's smooth, it's soothing. So I'm very interested to try it again. This one, as I say, quite familiar with. Tried it, I don't know, half a dozen times at least through the year on Isla. And naturally, I like Ardbeg, the distillery, and the whisky. Bunnahabhain, lovely distillery. I'm usually not just as keen on the whisky. That said, if this one wins today, it'll have been my favourite whisky, or Bunnahabhain will have produced one of my favourite whiskies 2 years out of 6. So, how's that for me not liking it? Right, what'll I go for first? On the nose first, we'll do both, and then taste them. Then we'll add a little bit of water. It might be clear by that point which one I prefer. If not, I will do a big unveil. On the nose, we'll go for the Ardbeg. It's lovely, it really is. When I take people to Isla, before we get there, when I pick them up, I say, all you're going to hear today, on the way there, is Isla, 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 Isla. Once we're there, on the way back, all I'm going to hear from you is Isla, 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 Isla. You have to go. You immerse yourself. It's a beautiful place, lovely island, great people, amazing whiskey, and it really does double meaning, if you like, but it intoxicates you. It draws you in. The whiskey helps, but beautiful place, the scenery, the landscape, the history, all of that stuff, and that's Isla in a glass. It's for a 5-year-old, they've done a stupendous job. That is lovely. I love it. It's got a juiciness. It's quite light. It's not really got any of the dirt or the dirty smoke, the black smoke you'd expect from Ardbeg. I often talk about the scrapings off the warehouse floor. None of that. It's I wouldn't say it's too well rounded, but it's juicy and it's sweet and it's fresh and it's bursting with life. From memory, it really does taste like it smells. So, try and get that out the nostrils. Bunnahabhain on the nose. So you're going from like an after-gig party in a pub to a high-end cocktail party. Much more reserved, much more mature, much more well-rounded. It is absolutely lovely. Two very different whiskies. A little bit sort of more nuttiness on this one, a little bit more, almost a little bit of almond coming through. But you've got the, again, juicy sweetness. If we're talking about juicy sweetness, there are two very different juicy sweetnesses. This is much more, as I say, much more to it. It's much more balanced. It's much more, this one's almost like fizzing, whereas this one stroking you, cuddling you a little bit. So, I'll give you the flavour notes since we've got the cards from the box. Place your dram here, share your tasting notes, and fetch up home pictures with us on social at Bunnahabhain. Maybe not go that far. So the Fusila 2021 Marsala cask finish, distilled in 2001, so it's about 20 years old, maybe 19, probably 20 years old. Exotic aromas of cherries, licorice, tobacco, giving way to the sweetest rhapsody of fruit and nuts, with the faintest breath of spice and comforting leather. So, I think it doesn't differentiate there between the nose and the mouth, but I'm getting as much on the nose of that, the rhapsody of fruit and nuts, the almond that I was talking about, sort of the juicy fruitiness. And that sort of, it's not like a battered old leather, a tight leather, a sort of hard leather, it's a sort of soft, spongy leather. Also, natural colour, non-chill filtered, beautiful colour in this one, and non-chill filtered, so they're both keeping the purists happy. And 53.6, that's 53.6, and this one was at 47.4. So, similar sort of ballpark. I am going to taste the Bunnahabhain first. So, try it neat. It's really nice. Bit of strength, but nothing too punchy, and because it's quite well balanced, it's not overwhelming, but it's strong. A little bit of that sort of cocoa chocolatiness, juicy, talking like almost like chewy fruits, real thick. So cherries, black currants, bit of sort of raisin, all of that sort of chewiness. I was interested to taste it here in WhiskyTourGuideKeith Towers. The last time I tasted it, if you watched the video, on Isla, on the coast, distillery in the background, in July, middle of summer, sun beating down, the coastal notes literally blowing through you. Compared to now, we're in February 2022 as I drink this, middle of winter. It's been snowing in the last week indoors. I was interested to see the difference, and I will be truthful at this point, it's not had the same impact as I had drinking it at the distillery. Not bad, but it really made an impression. This time it's very good. So we'll move on, and we'll give the wee beastie a try. I'll get that sort of maltiness, the wheatiness, that's not wheat, but I mean the sort of barley, the cereal on the nose now. I reckon I could ID this as an Ardbeg in a blind tasting. So it's nowhere near as full, but it's got nice right down the line nose. And there's the dirt. What you have to call, if you're an Islay smokehead like myself, that reassuring Islay smokiness. It's there in spades. Second little dram there has calmed down. It's got a sort of fruit burst. Now don't like, I'm going to say opal fruits, the sort of real juicy, chewy sweets. Now if you had a pack of opal fruits and tried this, you'd say it's not the same, but the same sort of effect in a whisky context. It's got a real fruit burst juiciness to it. Okay, we'll add a little bit of water. We'll go for 3 drops each. Now it's likely to really open out the Bunnahabhain. It's got more depth, it's got more complexity. Three drops in the Ardbeg. I'm not sure, from memory I think I've been drinking it neat. I don't think I've tried it with water, but I wouldn't expect much to happen other than maybe more smokiness, more intense Islay. So I'm going to, this time, we'll do the 5-year-old, the wee beastie with the water. Still that maltiness, the sweetness. This is so juicy, it really is juicy. Just calmed it down a little bit, widened the juice out, brought it up a little bit while taking the smokiness down. Still quite sharp, you can't call it sophisticated. It's quite well balanced. Now, if you've got 3 or 4 flavour notes and they're balanced, which they are I would say, and this is say got 15 to 20 flavour notes and they're balanced, they're both balanced, but surely that makes the more complex whisky, it surely puts ahead despite, I would say it's very well balanced for a 5-year-old peat bomb from Ardbeg. And it must be the sherry casks that are really flattening that out. Okay, back to the Bunnahabhain. 3 drops of water. We're getting close to the end. As I raised this, as I was taking the drink, a little inhale, and it beautiful. The aroma is just coming in. I wouldn't say the water's done overly much. Real nice sweet sort of toffee notes after, real sort of caramel, that sort of honeyness. There's no real citrus or anything. You're talking your sort of chewy red fruits, toffee with your bourbon, very sort of Bunnahabhain. One more little taste each. Tingling, so it's there, it's no, it's that 50+% strength. So it's tough. Okay. Quite happy. And I'm going to say the winner, Whisky Tour Guide Keith's Whisky of the Year 2021 is the Ardbeg Wee Beastie, 5 years old. What a dram. Under £40 a bottle, £35 a bottle. Up against a £199 bottle. It's very good, but this is a very, very, very impressive dram. What can I say? Well done. Applause. I think this is my first Ardbeg, winning the coveted title. So well done all at Ardbeg. Jackie, if you're watching, Jackie runs the visitor centre and all your amazing guides. Everyone else who works there, I don't know. I'll be back again in 2022, and I'll be drinking a few more wee beasties, I think, this year. So thank you for watching, and feel free to comment. Feel free to let me know what your favourite whiskies were. Check out my other videos, check out my last sort of 5 years worth of whiskies of the year as well, see what you think of those. And yes, we'll see you in another video at some point. Thanks for watching. Ardbeg, 5-year-old, Wee Beastie, Whisky Tour Guide Keith's Whisky of the Year 2021, Slanjava.